Welcome to the Pondcast, where we stop winging it and start getting strategic. This is the podcast from GoDuck Marketing and Media, where we talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of marketing, using real-world examples from the brands, businesses, and everyday moments we all experience. Because marketing isn't just ads and social posts. It's happening all around us. This is the Pondcast. Welcome, everyone, to the first GoDuck podcast we are calling the Pondcast. So one thing that we hear all the time, every single time we get a new client or even are just prospecting for a new client, we just hear so often that marketing is hard. What we want to talk about today is why it feels hard and what is it that actually fixes that feeling. So really the idea is that marketing isn't hard. Unclear marketing is hard. So when clients say marketing is hard, what do you guys think that they usually mean when they say that?
They're confused and overwhelmed because we're constantly overloaded with this new thing and that new thing, and you need to do this and you need to do that. And so much of it is misinformation. And I think people are just lost because there's so much false information being put out there that you need to do this or you need to spend money on that or da-da-da-da-da. People don't really know what the truth is and they don't really know what they're supposed to do.
Everybody has a different idea. I mean, you can literally go on YouTube and watch 5 different videos that are going to tell you 5 different things that don't correlate with each other. And the problem with that is they could all be right. It depends on who you are. What is your company? Where are your clients? Where are they located? Mm-hmm. Do you think that it might just be that there's too many options?
Yeah. You have all kinds of different browsers. You have all kinds of different radio. People still tend to do like traditional marketing too. So a lot like newspapers and things. I think there's a lot of platforms, a lot of like opinions and all kinds of stuff nowadays. So it's just kind of tricky to pick the right one too.
Well, and now we've reached this age here in the last 15 years, less than that even, where digital marketing has become its own thing, along with traditional marketing. And that traditional marketing piece is still important for many businesses, but that digital marketing piece is its own animal, because under that digital marketing piece, you have advertising on social media, social platforms. There's 15,000 different social media platforms you can use. And then on top of that, you've got internet radio like Spotify. You have Roku TV, streaming TV, which is in itself digital advertising. So there's so many things that fall under this piece that I think it becomes really difficult for people to formulate that opinion, especially if they've not really experienced marketing before, or if they just don't know what would work for their own clients. And I think that's what makes it so hard. And everyone thinks that their tactic is the one to go with.
Yeah. And when you have so many options as well, like you're overwhelmed by so many options, you're also overwhelmed by so many numbers, so many prices. You don't know which is the right option if you're supposed to do them all. And you just get so overwhelmed by how much it's going to cost you. And I feel like almost defeated and like, well, I can't do this. I can't do that. Like, what am I supposed to do? And it just leaves people feeling lost and confused.
Mm-hmm. Do I spend $5,000 on this? Do I spend $10,000 on this? Can I spend $500 and get by? Like there's so many different options. And I think that's what's so difficult. And one piece that we like to come into is actually helping to develop what that strategy is that fits within someone's budget, because that's what it really comes down to, is what works for you. We're not miracle workers. And I think that that's one thing in marketing. It's not just throwing something on a wall and hoping it'll stick. It has to be strategic, and you have to have a clear idea of what your messaging is, and you have to have a clear idea of where your audience is and like who's actually going to be buying your product or your service. Because if you don't know that and you're advertising in places where they're not hanging out, they're not,
watching, listening to, clicking on,
then you're wasting a lot of money. I do think it's one thing to note, and I think this is helpful for anybody, is that a good marketing budget to have, like a very average marketing budget to have, is between 5% and 8% of your annual revenue. So if you can think about that kind of going into your next year, thinking about what is that 5% of your business and being able to develop that into your yearly budget and understanding, okay, on a month-to-month basis, this is how much I can afford. Because again, that consistency is really where you want to be. You can't post something on social media for 30 days and then expect to get 500 new followers. Mm-hmm. It is 1% of people that might happen to. It has to be strategic and you have to be consistent.
And patient.
Yeah.
Mm. You have to be patient.
We always say every single time a new client comes on with us, we always tell them to give us 90 days. Give us 90 days for it to start to actually show, because there's so much learning that has to happen behind the scenes and so much that we have to figure out and that we figure out along with you to determine what's going to work. Where's your audience? After that 90-day mark, we really start to see a lot more results after that time period. And it's because it takes time and patience. And nobody wants that because we live in a fast food society. So you want to just be able to drive through and get your marketing and get results quick. And it's just one of those things that it just doesn't work out that way, unfortunately. Wish it did. Our job would be a lot easier. So what do you think happens creatively when someone tries to be everywhere?
Strategically, kind of like paint your house all the same color, like all the theming and all the decorations look the same. It just kind of all fits into one piece, like it doesn't have to necessarily look like all these different themes and like all these different like decoration types or whatever, but it just kind of comes together as like a whole, like that consistency and like that cohesive feel, especially like with your logo, your branding, all your social media, all of the ways you market, just kind of making sure like everything is strategically placed and looks good. In a sense, just like in that department creatively is what helps kind of make the marketing even better, like other than just the behind the scenes numbers, all that kind of stuff too.
Can I address something right there with that? And I have experience with this lately. AI is not always the answer.
No, it's not.
I have tried to make tried to make a couple logos on an AI platform. They're awful.
Yeah.
No.
And
they're bad.
Then I saw someone else post their new idea on Facebook, and it was the exact same picture that I'd been given.
Mm-hmm.
So for these AI softwares to have all these materials, we both got the same thing. It was a windy road with the cross at the end. Pretty generic. They were using it everywhere. But you've taught me less is more.
Yes.
Brianna has taught me less is more. I like that'll tell all my story in one picture. That's not always the case.
I think you always have to think about, though, especially with your logo, with your branding, is where is it going to be? And how can I use this exact same image on my t-shirts, my hats, my digital ads,
your building
business, signs on signs for your business. I mean, there's all kinds of things. And Ashton, is a logo the only part of your brand?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Not one chance is it only part of your branding. I'll say there's so many aspects of like your brand. I mean, logo is your most important part, obviously, because it's what people see. But it's like all your colors like mean something behind your business. All the fonts kind of connect back to your logo. Like when people read something that you post or have printed out or something on your billboard or wherever it's at, like the tone of your voice. I know it's not visual, but like the tone and like the messaging behind your brand is very important too, because it all just kind of connects into one thing. Because like if your tone doesn't match your logo, then one person might think of your company this way, while another person thinks of it like the complete opposite. So having everything kind of like together and connected and like actually well thought out is better to have.
Yeah. And I think it's important to note too that it takes 6 times for someone to see an ad or a post or whatever before they decide to actually even follow through on it, even click on the website sometimes, or just basically interact with your post, your ad. So every single time of those 6 times that someone views your ad, they need to know that you're who it's for. And the only way they're going to know that is if the design is consistent. It doesn't have to be the same. We're just talking about consistency, having the same colors, having the logo on there, the branding is similar. It has to be set up that way. And it's because of the fact that people are fickle. And we live in a society where, did you know that you're seeing between 5 and 10,000 ads a day without even knowing it?
In most all the major brands, you can strip away the words and you still know what it is.
Mm-hmm. The logo mark.
Yeah.
Whatever that logo is, you can strip away any wording and you know exactly what it is. You could see a Coke logo and know it's Coke.
Be that check mark. It's Nike.
The Amazon smile on all your packages everywhere. It's your Amazon package coming to your door.
Yep. I'm not even kidding. My dog knows when she was a box or a bark box.
Marketing even works.
Has been brought into the pod. It took about 10 minutes.
And today he doesn't know Tux is Delaney's possession.
So when, do you think that business owners feel pressure to be on platforms that they don't understand?
Yes. And I see it all the time. I'll sit down with a potential new client. I don't know how to do this. Tell me. I've tried to do it. I don't know how to do it. And it breaks my heart when I hear people say that they've tried to do it and they don't know how to do it. So they've been pushing their money into it without understanding it. And I hate to say it, a lot of the time they've wasted their money because they're not doing it correctly, because they do feel so much pressure that they have to do all these different things that maybe they don't need to do, or they definitely shouldn't be doing if they don't understand it, because you're just throwing money away, unfortunately.
We had a client who started with us at one point. This has been a while ago, but they had been trying to do their own Google ads. And they didn't realize until we got into it, because they said that it didn't work. They didn't even want to try it again. And then we were like, well, why don't you just allow us to get into it and just maybe see what's wrong with it? And this is a company that's pretty regional within the state, within West Virginia. And they were spending all of their money on a nationwide campaign, and they didn't even know it. That they were actually spending all of their money across the entire United States. So no wonder it wasn't working. It was pretty spread thin, and they didn't have the targeting right. So we went in and, changed some things and started working with them, and now they're getting all kinds of calls and stuff from them. So it really, really matters, especially if you're spending money on it. Social media, to be posting consistently. That consistency is important. Quality is more important than quantity. It's just important to get it out there. And the same thing with digital ads, though, is it's that strategic approach, more so than just spending as much money as you can.
Well, I can remember the first time I was sitting at home watching a streaming service and I saw one of our ads come through and I was like, wait a minute, what is that? I was like, how'd that get there? It's like, yeah, and you don't think about it, but so many people have transitioned from traditional radio, traditional TV, that's how you get the advertising out there. And so I think that business owners that are not in a field that is using technology every day doesn't understand that. And it's not their fault. It's just a matter of how fast stuff is progressing.
Yeah. And how quickly it changes too. We used to, I'm talking 3 years ago, you could post on social media. We could make a post on Facebook and it would be seen by your followers, and it would be seen by outside people. And the algorithm has completely 100% changed to where now you almost have to put money behind your social media. You almost have to, if you want the page to grow. It changes so rapidly and so fast. And just within the 6 years that GoDuck has existed, the amount of changes that we have seen just in the technology and in the way companies need to be marketed, it changes constantly.
And it's only going to change even more.
Especially with AI. I mean, AI has made a huge, massive, major difference in everyone's jobs, and marketing is certainly affected in that too. In that also, once again, we're talking about the creativity of AI is still lacking very much. And you try to get it to be creative. Everyone can tell it's AI.
And you can't even make a simple AI logo.
No.
Like, it wants it to be as elaborate, bold. It wants to earn its keep. I mean, it's unreal.
You got to think AI just kind of pulls from like databases. So it's like people ask for the same things all the time. So then you're going to get the same thing as everybody else. So that's why it takes like a lot of effort, like actually like a human, like designing things.
Nothing it has ever given me, I can put on a hat, a t-shirt, anything. Like, it's not branding across the board. It's something you could put on a Facebook, like, profile picture. But other than that, like, if you put it on a hat, you look dumb.
Yeah.
You walking around like, what in the world is on your head?
My logo, man, probably wouldn't even like print good.
Not either. And because there's so many layers to it. Like, you've got your fronts, and then you've got like the clouds in the back. Like, it's just too much.
I mean, branding is all sort of telling that story too. That's in your branding isn't just your logo, but it's your fonts, it's your tone of voice in your captions, it's the photos that you share, it's the videos that you make. All of that falls in line with brand. I mean, this is branding for us.
Yeah.
This podcast is branding for GoDuck, and we've got other purposes behind why we're doing this podcast that all fit within the brand that we've discussed. Everything that you create for your company, you have to think about it that way. Does this fit within my brand? Does it even make sense that I'm doing this or spending money on this? And if it doesn't, then get it out of there. And if you think something will, give it that time to be able to actually be able to focus on it.
Well, Delaney and I met with a client recently, and we asked them about their logo and their brand, and they didn't really have one. And we're like, well, where did you get this at? And they're like, oh, somebody just made it for us at the last second because we needed a banner. And you're like, what? They had a great idea, and it's successful, but the logo and the branding, they never got that far in their mind. Like, they just want this business to take off and do well. We'll worry about that later. And like, that's where we're able to kind of circle in and be like, hey, and Ashton put together some logos, which they loved and were excited to make new business cards with and all that. But that wasn't what they were good at. They were trying to get to their idea. They were trying to get to making a profit for their business.
Which also makes sense too.
That's the goal.
I mean, I think just as people, like, we get so excited about things and we want to see them through. We want to do everything we can to see them through, and we forget about details. We forget about important things because we're so focused on our big plan and our big vision. Like, the excitement gets in the way of, oh, well, maybe I need to look at this, or maybe I should do that. But I think that's just who we are as people.
Yeah. The whole point of this episode is just to create that clarity in your marketing, why marketing is hard. So clarity of your brand, clarity of consistency, where you need to be. So let's talk about who you need to be in front of. Everybody is not a target. You can't market clearly if you don't know who it is that you're speaking to. So what is the most common answer that we get when we ask someone who their ideal client is?
Anyone that's gonna come and buy from me.
Yeah, anyone that has $1.
Should shop from me.
Just people around here.
So people around here.
People.
If they're driving by, I want them to stop in.
Who does that anymore? Who just drives by somewhere and just...
Before I stop in anywhere, I am always gonna look at either their website or their Facebook page.
I have a truth to tell here. I'll be sitting in the parking lot of a business if we're out of town or somewhere, and I'll be searching that business before I walk in there.
Oh yeah.
And Erin will be like, what are you doing? And I'll be like, I'm just checking it out. And she'll be like, it's right there. They're open. I'm like, yeah, I might have some bad reviews. You need to check it out. She goes, you're ridiculous. I was like, I have to get my nerves, my anxiety down.
100%.
I have to see a good plate of food on their Google review, and then I'm like, okay, yep.
Yeah, I do the exact same thing. And I think that there are a lot of people who do that, which is why if you don't have a Facebook page at all, it's not
How do you
get on that.
survive? I don't know. I delete it all the time, and then I'm like, it's addicting. I'm gonna delete it, and then I'm like, I wonder what so-and-so's into these days, and I'm like, I got to get back on Facebook. It's like a Rolodex of everyone's life that you've ever met or know.
You're right.
That's true. It is addicting now. And it's addicting on purpose. That'll be for another episode.
Yeah. But you have to think of yourself as a consumer. Like, what do you do before you go to a business, before you decide to shop somewhere, before you decide to go eat somewhere, order from somewhere? What do you do as a consumer? You're looking up their website. You're looking them up on Facebook. You're looking for the reviews. And so, like, you have to put yourself in those shoes to see what the people that are going to be coming to you, what are they doing before they come to you?
Yeah. You have to be specific too. You have to be specific in your audience and who is it that is actually attracted to your business. If you're a restaurant, what kind of clientele do you get most of the time? What are they interested in when they come and place an order? It's like going into a restaurant that has one of those menus that has every single, like if I walk into a restaurant and I see like Asian food and then also some Mexican and also we have burgers and here's a plate of seafood. It's like,
you know, this menu is overwhelming. Cheesecake though.
I was about to say that.
huge.
I don't know where to start. I don't know what to get.
So we went to this little place in Myrtle Beach one time, like down in Maine, Myrtle, right on the corner. We had a reservation and we were running late and like we're flying to get there because we're like, oh, they're going to give our table away. But there's like 3 things on the menu. And some friends that we were with were like, oh my gosh, this food is going to be amazing. And I'm like, what? There's 3 things on the menu. Like, what are you talking about? And she was like, no, that means they're good at what they make. And I'm like, I've never thought about that. So now when I go somewhere and they're like, here's the menu. If you need some time, let me know. And it's like 14 pages. It's like, you're getting that out of the freezer to make it, aren't you?
Yeah. Yeah. Or like that is going straight into the microwave.
Yeah.
If there's a huge menu. Because how do you even keep all of that on?
Gordon Ramsay. I'm a big Gordon Ramsay fan. Gordon Ramsay, if you see this, you won't see this, but I love you. That's one of the things he does when he goes into restaurants. If their menu is too big, he's like, no, we need to concise this because like you're not putting out quality. You're not having good ingredients. You're having to spread your money too thin on these things. People can't decide what they want. You have to concise it.
So let's wrap this up with kind of strategy versus tactics and talk about how tactics are just a one-time thing, or it can be trendy, it can be whatever's going on. Those aren't bad, but you have to have that overarching strategy that those tactics can fit inside. So boosting posts, not a strategy. It's a tactic. Running an ad isn't a strategy. Just posting on social media, that's not a strategy. Your strategy has to come first, and then all of those things have to follow. So what happens creatively when there's no direction in how the ad is supposed to be run? I mean, what would be kind of your thoughts there?
Design-wise, or just like creative background of it? I'd say design-wise, if all your ads that are going on don't look the same or similar, just like consistent with your brand, it can be kind of hard for people to like think those ads relate back to you. So let's say like 2 of your ads are your brand colors and like your brand, like branding, and then like 5 others that you're running aren't like at all. People may not know that it's correlated with you, or like it doesn't resonate with like this audience because they're not thinking it's you. Like if you look at the top brands, they keep everything consistent no matter where they're running it, how they're running it. And so it just kind of makes everything kind of come back to your website or come back to your business. Because if you go like creative off the walls everywhere, it can just kind of point people in 8 different directions that you don't want them to.
Mm-hmm. So how would we maybe redirect people to go from tactics to a strategy?
I mean, honestly, it's not something that you can just do on the fly. You really need to sit down, think about it, and plan out what your end goal is, what you want to accomplish, and then thoroughly think through, how am I going to get there? So it can't just be like, oh, I'm going to post this day, post this day. I'm going to be like, I want to focus on this for this period of time, really do it well, and then build on top of that with the next step. It's not something that you can just come up with and do. You really need to sit down and think about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think from a business perspective, your strategy would be kind of a visual mission or like value statement for your business, right? It's a visual version of like who you are and what you want to do. Those tactics would be goals to try to get you there. Yeah. So like they're one instance, something you're working on, something you're pushing to try to bring in more followers, bring in more clientele, but they're separate in, if that strategy or if that tactic doesn't work, you can change it. If that goal doesn't work, you can change it. But your mission and your value, that stays with your business for the long haul. And you have to be very specific, like Delaney said, and like take your time to figure that out. And I think a lot of times we've run across businesses that are like, oh, I want to do this, 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 and this. It's like, oh, okay, well, let's hone that in. Like, let's get that more centralized in, in one direction, and then we can pick strategies to go with that, or tactics to go with that strategy. But from a business perspective, it's just a visual mission statement, something that stays with you.
Yeah. I think really what it comes down to is that tactics without an overarching strategy is basically just gambling. Like, you're gambling your ad spend money, really. It might work, might not. It's sticking something to a wall. Or throwing something at a wall and seeing what sticks was what I was trying to go with there.
Like, if the spaghetti isn't done, it's not going to stick against the cabinet. Like,
it won't.
That was actually really good. I never would have thought of that.
Thank you.
Gordon Ramsay, if you see this, the spaghetti has to be done to stick to the wall.
So at the end of every episode, we're going to do something called a Quack Attack. And so at the end of every episode, we're going to give you one thing that you can do today in just 5 to 10 minutes to start helping to move your marketing in the right direction and stop it from feeling hard. So here's 3 things. Define exactly where your audience spends their time. What platforms, places, spaces, where are they actually? Define exactly who your audience is. Be specific about the type of person you're trying to reach. And then define one clear problem that you solve for them. Why are they going to your business? Where are they? Who are they? And why are they there? Because really the truth behind it is that marketing it's not magic. It's just clarity and execution and figuring out exactly where your people are located. So that's it for today's episode of the Pondcast. If this conversation helped you see your marketing a little bit more clearly, make sure that you're following us on social media for more real-world examples, strategy breakdowns, behind-the-scenes insights into how we actually build marketing that works. And if you're ready to stop guessing and start building a strategy that's actually clear and focused and profitable, then Go Duck Marketing and Media is here to help, because we don't just create content. We actually will help you create that strategy and build those foundations. So thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.